a lightning rod of an undrafted guy, as somebody who did not get expected to get undrafted. I think that's another undrafted category you were talking about earlier. The guy you don't expect to go undrafted, but does because of something off the
Yeah.
field or medical. And we'll talk about Justyn Ross. Justyn Ross, wide receiver, Clemson, obviously landed with the Chiefs. Not reported what his guaranteed money was. I wouldn't think it would be a lot because he was one of the last guys to sign as an UDFA. 6'4", 210 pounds. We know the guy. This is going to be one of the most well-known players we talked about.
Oh, yeah. He's the undrafted guy who might be drafted in your rookie league pretty commonly if you're in more than one league. Like, people are taking shots.
I've seen him go in the 4th round. I think it's his high. Best season came as a freshman. Serious injury concerns here. I got some flack for going on a podcast in my league and just saying that, it's as possible that he is paralyzed after a hit as it is possible that he becomes one of the best undrafted free agents we've seen, right? There's some serious concern there. I do want to throw this out there because I think he's getting a lot of hype, but when you just look at the statistics, he never surpassed a 19.3% target share. He had the one, pretty good freshman season, early breakout, then just never looked the same. So I want to know, as much as the stats you're going to share on this guy, kind of where you're at. Are you trying to? I'd love to claim him as a 5th round pick or maybe a waiver wire, but I'm not drafting him in the 4th round or anything earlier than that.
Taking him in the 3rd a couple of times. But you got to remember, in my leagues where we all think we're something, and we're all on YouTube or in DLF, and it's like there's a different measuring contest going on. I was trying to avoid nasty words in some of our leagues, which is like how brave are you to take the undrafted free agent we all like? And so, you gotta snipe before someone else snipes. And I did feel ridiculous in my next draft. It was actually the league we do for the DLF pods. There's a podcast group. All of us do podcasts, and we're in the DLF network.
Yeah.
So we've got a podcast. We've got a league, and I was like, I can't. That was just silly. And he immediately got drafted right before me in the 3rd round. I was like, no, I was right. In the leagues where we're all playing that type of measuring game. And as far as the hits go, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have to hope that he and doctors and his family would not put him in a situation. They would not clear him to be in an NFL game if he was literally one hit away. Having said that, the dark part about fantasy football is all these players, and that's why I like being a player fan more than a team fan more than anything else. It's like all these guys are one hit away. It's really scary, seriously. Yeah. But I do understand what you're trying to get at there. Like, we don't know. Like, that injury is for real. For example, that's why Ross is interesting, because before his injury, he legitimately outperformed perhaps the best sign of anyone in this class, T. Higgins, on the same team as a younger player. Like, he was better, not only for his team, but on a per attempt. Like, he outplayed T. Higgins. And T. Higgins is pretty good, we've decided. He's pretty good.
Pretty solid.
He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. And it's not that means everything, but if that's the way his college career had played out, yeah, you easily could have seen him being a 1st round touted prospect in if not the top 2, then the top 3 conversation from this team. As it turns out, he got injured. And then his performance just was never close to that. It was bad. His overall stats look bad. And I actually put him in that 2nd box with Smith. It makes sense why he's undrafted when you look at his profile. He's got, looking real quick, a 0.9 average yards per team attempt, which is just terrible. Wide receivers average 1.8, and that's not a wide receiver stat, and that's just from his conference. For his career average in receiving yards per team attempt, he's got 1.87. And again, these numbers mean nothing to you. It's a stat I like and no one else talks about, but it's bad. 2 is good. Above that is where we start seeing the T. Higgins of the world, for example.
Yeah.
Especially on average. The hits have 2.5 and above, and Ross is averaging a lowly 1.8. But when you dig into his season, you do see this drastic shift pre and post injury. I don't know if his first season was the truth. I don't know if he could ever be that again, even if now he's healed, because that injury may have changed him physically. I literally don't. I'm not a doctor. We say it as a joke these days. I'm not a doctor, but it's real. I can't tell And even if I were to read, or I were his doctor for some really stupid reason, I wouldn't understand the information they were giving me to make the decision.
So
So but I do think that makes him in that weird group. That does mean he has all the upside and all of the downside. Like, I would say just one caveat where we're drafting him in the third round in no leagues. Liking them means nothing. I would say the same thing about the undrafted free agent money. Not to throw cold water on that, because at least it has real value. You understand it. But NFL to an NFL team, this money's almost nothing, and they bleed money that is significant almost daily. Like, they cut first round picks, and that's millions.
yeah.
And it does nothing. They're toy teams for billionaires. So the money is real, but it's also it just goes away when it doesn't. And it's the same with liking them. Like Keelan Doss. Wasn't that the guy that we all watched preseason? Oh, yeah. And we loved a fan favorite of what's the show called? Damn it.
Hard Knocks.
The show. Thank you. I loved it because it was an undrafted free agent showing that he shouldn't have been undrafted. He's competing with drafted players and outperforming them in the same setting. It's like, yeah, Keelan Doss is going to do something. This is awesome. He's cut before the season. And that's with all that TV hype. That's with fan goodwill. So unfortunately, NFL teams probably have very real decisions I don't understand. So it's not even saying they should have kept Keelan Doss, but it's worth knowing I can like Justyn Ross as much as I like. It still doesn't mean he's not on the roster by week 1. Like, it doesn't. He could literally be on Hard Knocks and do well and not be on the roster by week 1. But that first season is tantalizing.
So he lands in the best possible situation he could have landed in. We'll just say
and that's the other thing, right? No, go. Sorry, I realize I keep talking for way too long.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the heck out of this. I do not apologize for that. No, so he landed in the best situation possible. So the positives for him, the show is called For FF's Sake. By the way, it's kind of like for argument's sake. Even if we don't like a player, let's talk about what could go well for this guy. For fantasy football's sake, this is why you need to be in on this player. And I'll do that right now. Justyn Ross, obviously, landed with the best situation he could. Quarterback, uncertain wide receiver room. I mean, I don't think anybody's beating down the door for MVS to take on a big role. McCole Hardman's had all the chances in the world. Juju's interesting. Sky Moore, obviously, very interesting. But who's to say that the team that's been giving shots to the guy who cannot, as Stephen A says, stay off the weed, Josh Gordon, they've been giving him chances. So who's to say they won't give Justyn Ross a chance? And here's the thing. So I'll say this. If you're drafting him in the third round, if he comes out in preseason and does what you were talking about, the guy from Hard Knocks, and now
right.
Throw a blank, you'll be able to get value for him if you wanted to trade him at that point. Because
that's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be on him again. He's had a play from OTAs that Kelsey and Mahomes retweeted and everybody was freaking out about. So I think his value goes up really quickly. And that's for fantasy football's sake why I think even if you don't like him, you should grab him.
Yeah, and the other thing about that, again, I'm like the cold water guy, I guess. I don't know, because I love all of that. It's Kansas City. It's Mahomes. Why not? I mean, Tyreek Hill literally did this, right? But the team doesn't need a replacement. Let's be clear. Like, Patrick Mahomes can still be great and then not be a Tyreek Hill. Quarterback and wide receiver operate independently a little bit, more than we're willing to admit, because we want the wide receiver one for Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning to be great. And normally they are, because they are good as well. But Patrick Mahomes can still have a top 3 season, and Chiefs can still go to the Super Bowl without another Tyreek Hill emerging. Kelsey is fine. Hardman, as much crap as I've given dynasty owners for continuing to waste second-round picks on him and late first, like, he gets 600 yards a season. He puts up 100 yards and a touchdown or 2 every now and again. The team is solid. And so, like, it's not like Ross has to emerge. And I hate throwing undrafted free agent cold water, because normally I'm doing the opposite. But it's, again, like you say, for argument's sake, I get it. But as someone who has been rostering undrafted free agents for a while, just know you're probably cutting them. But it's really interesting. Why not?
It's fun. It's a fun story to follow.
And I would say, like, it depends what positively. Like Keelan Doss hype, yeah, trade for value. But like I traded way too low on Tyreek Hill because I've been in this game a while by the time Hill came around. And he had that first season, which was really good, but still people were uncertain. And I was selling for like a first and Philip Dorsett. And I didn't even like Philip Dorsett. So like how impressive matters. Don't just sell to sell either, because you can still get burnt.
How much is it really worth at that point, right?
So this is honestly the part where most people who like football really trust their eyes. They enjoy watching the game. And they know it's like. If you watch him and you think, yes, I would. That's where I'm a weird data tape guy. I'm like, that's fine barometer for sell high or just hold for future, because we don't know. So, if he gets on the field on TV, then maybe take a look, see what you think, and let that be your guide. It's really unpredictable after that point.